Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. Well, Chumbara was just too fun to leave it at one lesson, so we are back again today to learn how to play an accompaniment for Chumbara, to have the maximum fun with this song, and I definitely recommend going for maximum fun. I suggest that you find a duet partner to play this with. Remember, a duet is simply two people making music together. To turn Chumbara into a duet, you'll need one person to play the melody and one person to play the accompaniment. So try and find a duet partner who can play the piano. Just have them learn the melody from the other lesson, and then you can play the accompaniment, which we'll learn in this lesson today. Or you can trade jobs and do it the other way around. Totally up to you. Let's come to the piano to get started learning the accompaniment to Chumbara. So for the accompaniment, let's go in the lower half of your piano, down in the bass clef area. Whoever is playing the melody could be up here, starting on middle C, so we'll want the chords down here. So I'm going to place my right hand in the bassy pentascale and my left hand in the low C pentascale. On an 88 key piano, you'll also have this very low C, which we're not using at this point. Now, for the accompaniment pattern that I think sounds best, what we're going to do is our left hand is going to alternate going do, so, just back and forth. Whenever you see the one chord, that's what you're going to do. Remember, one chord has a do, a mi, and a so in it. So we could really take any of those notes to make an accompaniment pattern, but a really common bass pattern in folk music is just going back and forth between the root of the chord and the fifth of the chord. Wherever your root is, the fifth of the chord is the note a fifth above it. So we have the root, fifth, or do and so. Do and so. Try this with me. With your left hand, using fingers 5 and 1 on C and G, go. Do, so, do, so, do. So pretty simple, right? And that's going to keep a good steady beat for us. Chumbara, 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 chumbara. Good. Now here you see we get to a 5-7 chord. Now let's talk a little bit about the meaning of the 5-7 chord. The 5 part of the chord tells you the root of your chord. That Roman numeral tells you the root. And in the key of C, the 1 chord is built on the first note of the scale. The 5 chord is built on the 5th note of the C major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means G is the root of the 5-7 chord. Now, to make this sound more interesting, we're not going to use this G. I think a good low bass sound sounds good. So we're actually going to take the G down here instead. So here's our 1 chord. For the 5-7 chord, we're going to shift down to the G pentascale and go back and forth between G, which is the root of our 5-7 chord, and the 5th of the chord, which is D. Boom, boom, root, 5th, boom, boom. Okay, so whenever you have a 1 chord, you're here on C and G. For the 5-7 chord, we're on G and D, G and D, C and G, or G and D. Now, I'd like you to press pause and on your own practice going back and forth between C and G and D. Then press play when you're ready to go on. Great. Now, let's try to play Chumbara using the left hand for accompaniment. Watch for the chord symbols in the music, and if you like, you can sing along as well, or just focus on what the left hand is doing. Here we go. We're going to start with the 1 chord. Ready, go. Chumbara, 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 chumbara. Now we go down to the 5-7 chord. Chumbara, chumbara. Back to the 1. Chum, 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 chum. You notice during the chum, 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 chum. Got to go back and forth from 1 chord down to the 5-7. Keep going. Chumbara, 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 chum, chum, chum. Now here, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to go C, and then G, and then a very low C for the last chum, chum, chum. At least that's what I like to do. C, G, C at the end. Okay? Now, let's try the whole thing together now. using your left hand, and this time we're not going to pause, so be ready for those shifts. Here we go. Left hand alone, just alternating between the root and the fifth on the 1 and 5/7. Ready, go. Chumbara, 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 chum 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 chumbara, 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 chum chum chum. Now, if you need more practice on that, feel free to press pause or rewind. But if you're ready, let's add in the right hand now. So our left hand's just playing root and fifth of each chord, but our right hand's going to play a blocked chord in between each note that the left hand plays. So we'll kind of make a pattern like this. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So, do, so. So my right hand's just playing this do, mi, so, 1 chord. On the ands of the beat, if I'm counting the beat, it would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now, can you try that pattern with me? So it's going to be left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, with the left hand going back and forth between do and so, right hand adding a chord on the and of the beat. 1 and 2 and. Try that along with me. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Chumbara, 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 chumbara. Good. Now when we get to the 5/7 chord, remember our left hand shifts down to G and D, but our right hand's just going to glide into this 5/7 chord for C major. Remember, here's how we would play a 5/7 chord. And there's a theoretical reason for this. We've actually taken the G from down here. See, this is really a G chord with a 7th in it, but don't worry about that. That theory is getting a little advanced. Just trust me that this is a 5/7 chord, kind of where we took the G from the bottom and put it on top. There's this 5/7 chord for C major using fingers 5, 4, and 1, while the left hand's way down here on G, D, boom, 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 boom. Good, let's try that 5/7 chord. Get your right hand right here and your left hand down here, and let's slowly go back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. 1 and 2 and 1 and. The right hand's playing on the and, 2 and, 1 and 2 and. Kind of makes a cool sound. Good. Now let's practice going back and forth from the 1 chord to the 5/7 chord. See how I do that? 1 chord, 5/7 chord, 1 chord, 5/7 chord. Press pause on your video and practice going back and forth from the 1 chord to the 5/7 chord, to the 1 chord to the 5/7 chord, until you feel really comfortable with that. Then press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, now that you've got that switch down between 1 and 5/7, let's try the whole thing slowly with chords. Here we go. I'll give you 2 beats and then away we go. First chord is the 1 chord. 1, 2. Chumbara, 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 chum. Now the 5/7 chord. Chumbara. Back to the 1 chord. 5/7 chord. 1 chord. Chumbara, chumbara, chumba. To the 5/7 chord. Back to the 1. Boom, boom. So at the end you can go C, G, and then C. I like to play the chord whenever I play the C. C together, and then G in the left hand by itself, and then I have 1 more C major chord at the end. Chum, chum, oops, chum, chum, chum. Nice. Now, of course, you're going to keep working on that until you can play it at the full tempo. Chumbara, 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 chum, 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 chumbara. Another thing I'd like you to try is transposing the accompaniment to different keys. For example, let's try the key of G major. How many sharps in the key of G major? If you said 1 sharp, you're correct. So to play the 1 chord in G major, we'll put both hands in the G major pentascale. And now the left hand's going Do, So on G and D. And our right hand's playing Do, Mi, So in the key of G. Now, to find the 5/7 chord in the key of G, we simply find the 5th note of the scale, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, which happens to be D. And we're going to take that D down here and play the root and the 5th, which is D and A. And our right hand's going to play a 5/7 chord in the key of G, which is F sharp, C, D. If you remember Dinah, that's our 5/7 chord way back in Dinah. So we have 1 chord in the key of G, then 5/7 chord in the key of D. Key of G, which is a D. The root is a D, so we could call this a D7 chord, which is 5/7 in the key of G. So those would be your chords in the key of G. Now, I bet you could figure out some other keys as well if you apply those same relationships. The 1 and 5/7 chord is the same relationship in any key you're in. For that 5/7 chord, you just find the 5th note of the scale, and that becomes your root. So now I want to show you an advanced pro tip for how to get a duet started. The most professional way to start a duet is simply by breathing in. And that tells your duet partner that you're ready to start, and then you just begin. Now, a few things that are important to make this work. First of all, your breath has to be really obvious. You want to kind of lift your body and have that expectant look, like something really important is going to happen. And then number 2, the breath needs to be in the same beat that your song will be. For example, with Chumbara, we have a pretty fast beat. Chumbara, Chumbara. So this is the quarter note that I'm tapping here. Boom, boom. So my breath has to be that fast. Chumbara. If I were to breathe really slowly, Chumbara, that would be a really slow breath for a slow beat. Chumbara. But since we want a fast beat, you have to feel the beat and then breathe that quickly. Chumbara. So when you're ready to do your duet with someone, choose who's going to be the breather, who's going to start the song, and both get in position, make eye contact to make sure both of you are ready, and then breathe and then go, like this. Chumbara. Nice work today learning how to play the accompaniment of Chumbara. Now, I encourage you to find yourself a duet partner and try playing this along with someone else. If you don't have an available duet partner, I would be honored to play the duet with you. Just use the video and play along with me, or you can use the audio track available on our website as part of the materials for this unit. Thanks for watching and happy practicing.
I wonder if people wouldn't always be running away from me if I wasn't always trying to eat them. Maybe I should try and channel my energy in a more positive direction. I know. I could do a little piano practicing. Practicing, piano practicing, piano don't eat friendly creatures. Try to be a nicer T-Rex practicing, piano practicing.